it's Gwyn and welcome back to the channel. We have a weird and wonderful mix of recent news items from the last couple of weeks, so let's dive into some of the stories making the news. Ringo and friends at the Ryman Theatre. Well, the 2-hour spectacular featuring Ringo's performances at the Ryman Theatre in Nashville when he was the toast of the town in January features a 19-song setlist with contributions from friends such as Sheryl Crow, Molly Tuttle, Jack White and Mickey Guyton in what Ringo describes as 2 nights of peace, love and country music. Now, this show is due to air in the US this Monday, the 10th, at 8 p.m. on both CBS and Paramount+. When it gets an airing here in the UK, it's not yet known, but when it's announced, we'll bring it to you here. Sadly, another historic Beatle venue is set to be, bite the dust as the Riley building in Oldham, Lancashire will be demolished after site redevelopment plans were approved by the local Oldham Council. Now, the Riley building has stood since 1908 and the Beatles played there on the 12th of February 1963. Now, if you live close to a venue that the Beatles played at, why not share a photo in the comments below before they too become toast? A rare early numbered version of the Beatles' White Album has recently been sold for £10,000 by Trax Auctions House, the music memorabilia specialists. With the serial number being 0000012, it was originally owned by a photographer friend of George and Patty's who had gifted him the LP. In Paul news, now that the dust has settled on Paul's recent 3-night residency at the Bowery in New York and his appearance at the Saturday Night Live 50th birthday show, Paul keeps the news coming. Paul is one of many high-profile guests soon to be featured on the new Barbra Streisand Duets LP set to be released later in the summer. Other notable contributors include Sting, Ariana Grande and Bob Dylan. And Paul is also likely to feature in a documentary film supporting the album's release. Paul has also written an open letter lobbying for Joe Cocker's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He writes, "Dear Rock and Rollers, I would like to suggest Mr. Joe Cocker for entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Joe was a great man and a fine singer whose unique style made for some fantastic performances. He sang one of our songs, With a Little Help from My Friends, a version produced by Denny Cordell, which was very imaginative. All the people on the panel will be aware of the great contribution Joe made to the history of rock and roll. And whilst he may not have ever lobbied to be in the Hall of Fame, I know he would be extremely happy and grateful to find himself where he deserves to be amongst such illustrious company. Thank you and all the best, Paul McCartney." Following a sequence of literary efforts by Mr. McCartney, first of all we had the McCartney lyrics and In the Eyes of the Storm 1964, Paul has announced the release of Wings, The Story of a Band on the Run, which will be released on the 4th of November 2025. Heralded as a landmark account of Paul's triumphant musical reinvention in the 1970s, this volume is drawn from dozens of hours of interviews with Paul and many people who journeyed along with the McCartneys from their small beginnings to their stadium-conquering live shows around the world, making them one of the very best and most successful bands of the 1970s. The book is edited by prize-winning historian Ted Winter, and the 9 albums of Wings are the milestones to the journey that was made, and is supported by more than 100 black and white and colour photographs, many of which have never been seen before. A cover image is yet to be released, but it will consist of 528 pages and be published by Alan Lane, and is currently available for pre-order for £35. This work will continue the re-evaluation of the 70s era McCartney, and will be followed by a documentary film on Paul's solo and Wings musical works from Academy Award-winning filmmaker Morgan Neville. Also remember, we're on the countdown to the release of the half-speed master of Venus and Mars, which is due to be released on March the 21st. Sad news in Joey Molland of Badfinger has died. Joey, who was the band's last surviving member, has sadly died aged 77, along with Pete Ham, Tom Evans and Mike Gibbons. He featured in the best-known iteration of the band. Molland's health had experienced a turn for the worse late last year, and he never recovered. He died accompanied by his girlfriend Mary Joyce, his 2 sons and other family members. Paul McCartney paid tribute, saying Joey was a brilliant musician and a great guy. Badfinger was such a fantastic band, and Joey's guitar playing and songwriting was a huge part of their sound. Joey will be remembered for his cheeky sense of humour, as witnessed at many a convention, and more importantly, he'll be remembered for his contribution to the wonderful music of Badfinger, including wonderful songs such as Come and Get It, No Matter What, Day After Day, Baby Blue, and Apple of My Eye, to name but a few. So let's raise a toast to Joey Molland. And finally, to continue the toast theme, yep, you heard it right, UK memorabilia collector Joseph O'Donnell has recently purchased a single page from a 1960s Beatle fan's scrapbook for an undisclosed fee. What was such importance on this page? Well, sellotape to it is allegedly a piece of discarded toast from George Harrison's breakfast plate, which the fan, Sue Houghton, liberated from the kitchen when visiting the Harrisons' home in 1963. This unique artefact now takes pride of place in O'Donnell's extensive collection. In a 1992 interview, George actually discredited the toast theory, saying that "I ate all my toast, I never left any." Thank you all for your recent comments and feedback to the good work being done here on the Revolver Beatles channel. But it does look as though I might have recently upset one or two in my video of the Star Club sessions with my good, baddish and ugly tracks that seem to divide opinion somewhat. But that's what it's all about, and it'd be boring if we all agreed with everything, wouldn't it? Please remember that the subscribe button is available to you all, and if you enjoy the content on the channel, please do subscribe and spread the word, and let's try to grow this community. We've some exciting videos in the pipeline, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. So until then, bye for now.